Hello, my dear friends. Let's start with the back exercise question of Chapter 2, Class 11th Biology, NCERT. First question is discuss how classification systems have undergone several changes over a period of time. As we have already discussed in our previous video, that classification always keep on changing with time as new organisms are keep on adding. So Aristotle was the first to introduce scientific classification. He used simple morphological characters to classify plants into herbs, shrubs, and trees, and he divided animals into two groups only, one with red blood and one without. Then Linnaeus introduced a two kingdom classification concept which includes Plantae and Animalia. In the Plantae we keep plants, and in Animalia we keep the insect. But what was the drawback of this classification? This classification does not classify eukaryotes and prokaryotes, single celled and multicellular organisms, photosynthetic green algae, and non photosynthetic fungal organisms. Therefore, this system was found to be less significant as it did not include more features. So, this was the drawback of Linnaeus two kingdom classification concept. Then classification system undergone several changes, and finally R.H. Whittaker gave the five kingdom classification concept, which includes Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plant and Animalia. This is the very important question. It always comes in the exam for 5 marks. So you should know the detailed explanation of this question, which we have discussed in our previous video while studying the chapter. Some of the characteristics included in this classification are structure of cells, body organization, mode of nutrition, mode of reproduction, phylogenetic relationship to classify organisms. Phylogenetic means the ancestral relationships. Subsequently, a three-domain system was proposed with divided kingdom in Monera into two domains, leaving the remaining eukaryotic kingdoms in the third domain, thereby classifying the 6 kingdoms. But R.H. Whittaker concept was finally accepted and widely accepted. Second question is state two economically important uses of heterotrophic bacteria and archaebacteria. Heterotrophic bacteria is used in production of various things like vitamin, antibiotic, cheese, curd. They help fix nitrogen and are used in formation of humus. Archaebacteria are used in biogas production. They are used in bioleaching of mines. Third question is what is the nature of cell wall in diatom? As we have already discussed, in diatoms the cell wall is made up of silica, and when it gets deposited at the seabed of that sea, it forms a diatomaceous earth. It forms a layer of that earth called diatomaceous earth, which is used in various substances like toothpaste, jelly, etc. So in diatom, cell walls are embedded with silica, imparting characteristic patterns onto wall and are indestructible. These atoms leave large amounts of cell wall deposit in their habitat to accumulate to form the diatomaceous earth. Fourth question, find out what the term algal bloom and red tide signify. Algal bloom means there is an increase in the concentration of algae bloom. So it is found in contaminated water. It is an overgrowth of algae, especially cyanobacteria, which is also called blue-green algae. Their growth leads to water pollution. They inhale CO2 and exhale O2. Rapid multiplication of red pigmented dinoflagellate called goniolax give a red color, a phenomenon known as red tide. When this dinoflagellate grows on the tide, it releases its red pigment, due to which the tide becomes totally red in color. This is called red tide. These algae produce toxin that kill fish and other aquatic animals. How are viroids different from viruses? Viroids are small infectious agents with single-stranded RNA without a protein coat, but viruses have either single or double-stranded RNA with a protein coat. Viroids are very small in size as compared to viruses. Viroids only infect plants, while viruses infect plants, animals, and microorganisms. You can also write this question by writing it in a tabular form to explain the differences between viruses and viroids. You can also draw the diagram for this based on the NCERT pattern. Sixth question, describe the 4 major groups of protozoa briefly. 4 major groups are: first is amoeboid protozoa. These are found in aquatic environment. They move and catch their prey using pseudopodia. Flagellated protozoan, as the name suggests, these are free living and parasitic. Their locomotory structure is flagella. Ciliated protozoans, they live in aquatic environment and presence of cilia makes them actively moving. Sporozoans, they contain wide variety of organisms, produce infectious spores throughout their life cycle, and their spore-like phase help them to move from one host to another, means to complete their life cycle. Seventh question, plants are autotrophic. Can you think of some plants that are partially heterotrophic? So plants are always autotrophic, but some plants like pitcher plant, insectivorous plants are heterotrophic because they feed on the insects for their nitrogen content. Example, Urticularia, Drosera, Nepenthes. What do the term phycobind and mycobind signify? Phyco means algae, myco means fungi. So this is the symbiotic association between algae and fungi, which is called lichens. Phycobind is a part of algae and mycobind is a part of fungi. Mycobind provides structural cover to algae from unfavorable conditions. Phycobind prepare food by the process of photosynthesis, which is used by both the organisms. Give a comparative account of the classes of kingdom fungi under the following: mode of nutrition and mode of reproduction. Mode of nutrition, Phycomycetes, this is an obligate parasite, they grow on dead and decaying matter. Ascomycetes, they grow on dung, parasitic, decomposer, saprophytic. Basidiomycetes are saprotrophic. Deuteromycetes are saprotrophic, decomposers, parasitic. And mode of reproduction is Phycomycetes, they produce by both sexually and asexually. Ascomycetes, they produce sexual spores in SI. SI means a sac-like structure. Basidiomycetes, they both reproduce by sexual and asexual reproduction. And Deuteromycetes, they produce by asexual reproduction because the sexual reproductive stages are unknown. That's why they are called Deuteromycetes or imperfect fungi. This we have already discussed in a previous video while studying the chapter. Question 10. What are the characteristic features of euglenoids? Absence of cell wall, body is flexible, 2 flagella of different length is found. They are autotrophic in sunlight and sometimes heterotrophic in the absence of sunlight. You can also draw the diagram of euglenoid organism from the NCERT book also while doing this question. Give a brief account of viruses with respect to their structure and nature of genetic material. Also name 4 common viral diseases. Viruses are infectious agents that are crystalline in structure when found outside the host cell. Genetic material is either DNA or RNA, but never both. And they are located within the protein coat. If virus infect plant has single-stranded RNA, and virus that infect animals have either single or double-stranded RNA or DNA. Their capsid is the protein coat, which is made up of small units called capsomeres, which protect nucleic acid. And common diseases are influenza, AIDS, herpes, rabies. Last question. Organize a discussion in your class on the topic: are viruses living or non-living? So non-living characteristics are they are not cellular, they can be stored in bottle-like crystals like Venusky did. There will be no energy storage or energy liberation system. They cannot grow or multiply outside the host. But once they enter the host, they start behaving like living organism and start using the host machinery. Let's see. They are host specific. The presence of genetic material, the ability to multiply, they have antigenic properties, they are obligate parasites and mutation occur. So living is they are host specific, like the common example is the COVID virus. It infects animals like humans only, and they affect only the respiratory system. And likewise the mutation occurs. Now the COVID virus has formed a new substrate called Omicron virus. So the mutation occur in the code protein and a new variant is formed. So this shows that they have strong capability to mutate, to replicate and to enter the host cell. That's all with the back exercise of this chapter. For more videos, subscribe to my channel and also share it with your friends.